Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Lyons, and on today's show, we've got ourselves a very special guest, fan and lead beat reporter for DNVR Rams up there at CSU Fort Collins, Justin T. Michael. What's up, Justin?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk a little baseball, my first love, and we're talking about it before the show. I'm not 100%, but I think it's my first ever DNVR Rockies appearance. We're going to tentatively say that. We can revise history if we have to, but I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you're up there in Fort Collins covering CSU, so, I mean, you're in the general vicinity of owner Dick Momfort and Greeley. So, I mean, you talk about it before and on TDSP, but to officially be here on the show is great. Suzie's going to be calling in from Tampa Bay. We've got a nice segment with Kevin Henry. What are some of the things he is most worried about for 2024, right? This season is over. They're not eliminated yet from the postseason somehow. We got to wait and see if they're going to lose 100 games, but we'll talk about some of the other things getting ready for 2024. But Tuesday night, Rockies lose in a frustrating way in Tampa, a game that they were leading going into the 8th inning. They lose 12-4 due to a 9-run 8th inning by the bullpen. Justin, that's not good, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're supposed to lose by 8 when you're leading in the 8th, but, I mean, it felt very, like, early to mid-2000s Rockies, just classic, oh, we're winning. You go into the 8th inning, the bullpen comes in, and all of a sudden you're down 7, and the game just gets so out of hand so quickly. The whole thing just escalates, and it's disappointing, but it's kind of par for the course with this squad.
For sure it is. We got, well, look at the good, the bad, and the silver linings of Tuesday's game. Again, they look like they were going to pull a win out. As we had said over the weekend, 3-3 homestand. If they can be 500 at home, they only need to win 5 games on the road the rest of the way. I don't know if they're going to go 0-6 here against Tampa in Baltimore. That's the big one. Michael Toglia hits his first home run at the Trop, 384 feet to right center. That would not have been a home run at Coors Field. So, Justin, my question to you is, do you like these new statistics that, like, break everything down? Maybe it just gives you something to talk about. Look, he hit a home run. No one's going to necessarily remember. Even myself, I'm not going to remember that would not have been a home run at Coors Field. But it is a little set decoration, so to speak, and having conversations saying, hey, I wonder if that would have been out, or hey, was that lucky, or was that guy unlucky? Do you like that little addition that baseball has kind of gone to the next stage of statistics and making predictions and projections?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more context, right? That's the thing about all these numbers is you just get more context for varying situations. Like, we used to look at the game so simplistically of, just like batting average and ERA, and that was really like the 2 stats, like you could, if you could rattle off those, everyone's like, oh, look, this guy's a baseball genius. And now, obviously we go a lot more in depth. I will say there are times where those type of stats I think can be annoying when you use them to try and like poke holes, I guess, or like, if you're being cynical, like, well, that wouldn't be a homer at Coors, it's not legitimate. Well, it's different ballparks, and that's one of the things that's beautiful about baseball, is that every park is unique. Every park has its own feel. I like that. You've got to like learn how to play in the park. It's not just, all right, same dimensions everywhere we go. That'd be kind of boring.
I think it still allows for plenty of debate. Like, it doesn't kill it. Like, no, it wouldn't have been a home run at Coors Field. That's the end of the conversation. No, like, you can continue. And like you said, like, that's kind of the beauty of it. Well, where else would it have been a home run or wouldn't have? Or, would the outfield have played different defensively? Would Tolia's approach have been different? Now, he went out to right center. They've got the Rays touch tank. So him, Elias Montero, Nolan Jones, all the young guys hanging out together, touching some of the Rays. Question is, does Toglia need to go out and do it again, like tonight? Like, he hit a home run, so every game he's in Tampa, he's got to touch the Rays, doesn't he?
I think so. I mean, I was pretty superstitious when I played. Like, I I hit a double, so now I got to do this silly little routine where you do the straps the same on each hand, and I fiddled with my sleeves, so I'm a sleeve fiddler now. I don't know. I think that's just part of the things of baseball. Whatever you do that like just gives you that comfort, make you feel like you're in the zone. It's silly, but I also kind of love it.
Yeah. That's baseball for you. Brendan Rodgers back in Florida. Lots of folks in attendance there supporting him. 23 family members, 30 friends, and the Lake Mary Little League, where he actually didn't play there. He played in Lake Mary, but just not for that Little League, as he was on travel ball teams. But that Little League one win away from going to the Little League World Series. So they were all there.
That's pretty cool.
It is. I think so. Yeah, Julie Roberts, his mom, kind of hooking that up for those young gentlemen, going out with their families, kind of giving back. So that's nice. B-Rod is able to, help out the next generation of players.
Are you pro Little League World Series?
I love it. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I mean, so are you a detractor of the Little League World Series? It's not perfect.
At one point. Yeah, I mean, it's the umpiring's not great. And
sure.
It's kind of a sleazy ordeal. There's a lot of travel baseball in general is flawed. I've been a part of it for a long time. Umpire ran tournaments. It's not a perfect sport, but I mean, it's fun. It's cool to see how much it means to the kids. I like when you get the international situations, I think it was Cuba and Venezuela or something like that the other day. I was tuned in. I don't know. It's fun. I will say it drags on a little long in terms of it's like an entire month on ESPN where there's some point where I'm like, really again? But I mean, I feel like I'd be a kind of a Grinch if I was like, oh, this is the worst.
Curmudgeon?
Yeah, these kids playing baseball.
You baseball curmudgeon. I love it. Just the Williamsport part. Once in a while, I'll check in on the regionals, going into it. Hey, is New Jersey going to qualify?
Yeah.
No, all right. And then the interesting teams, North Dakota qualified for the first time, so that's fun. It's good that they got the pitch limits going. They have all the hitters. I think this was the first year, 1 through 12, 1 through 13, so everyone gets a chance to hit. That was the case in the past, too, where you had to, make sure everyone gets a hit. But now that you're going 1 through 13, that guarantees that. So I think that's nice. The cool thing, if anyone ever gets a chance to go over to Williamsport, they keep the prices super cheap. So you get a hot dog for $2.
It's like
you
the
get
Masters
icy
treatment.
Yeah, it's good. It's no, this is for families. Come and you're not gonna go broke. Have a good time. Buy a couple pins, trade them with some people. It's nice. The bad was the bullpen, as we said, dating back to last Tuesday. We're talking 4 blown saves, 4 losses, 11.32 ERA. And in fact, the last 2 eighth innings, 9 runs on Tuesday, and you had 7 on Sunday. 16 runs in the 8th inning the past 2 days. Again, not great. Brent Suter was charged with 5 earned runs. His first time giving up a run since July 29th. His ERA jumped from 2.34 to 3.10.
Go big or
in
go
his
home,
45th appearance. For sure, yeah.
You might as well go for it.
Yeah, that was only his first loss that got hung on him, so he's been great. I'm wondering if it's the jinx of the club. I don't know if you watch AT&T Sportsnet or if you watch the club, their weekly show where they highlight a player and all that. Could be the jinx. This week was all about Brent Suter.
Oh, no.
Also, I was on that episode too, so I don't know if I jinxed him too. The cameras came over to us, and I just was teeing him up for Jim Carrey quotes because he does an immaculate Jim Carrey impression, and then he was answering the questions in seriousness and earnestness while doing Jim Carrey impression. He just didn't pick up what I was putting down at first, saying, "Hey, how are these young guys fitting in? How do they fit?" And eventually he realized he needs to say, "Like a glove."
Well, I mean, that's a good bit. You just got to commit to it. If nobody else gets it, that's on them. At that point, the bit's for you, and you just take pride in it. And I almost enjoy that more. Do a bit for 3 minutes until it's so awkward and uncomfortable, and then just don't explain why. Just move on.
That he was performing just for me. I just wanted him to do more impressions. And I think the camera cut away when I asked him. I was like, if you're gonna have a tuna fish sandwich for lunch, what kind of tuna is it going to be? And he, without missing a beat, bumblebee tuna. Again, You get the reference. Yeah, Nathan May need to perform an exorcism. Ooh, not an exorcism, an exorcism on the pen. Yes, need to get some sage out there in the bullpen, really smudge, really get rid of those demons, so you can bring some good luck the bullpen's way.
What they do in Major League, got to sacrifice a chicken maybe?
You might have to. You might have to do something like that. You can't sacrifice a Ray while you're in Tampa. We're not going to do that.
Well, Rays are cool. I don't want to go that route.
A cow-nosed Ray. That's what they've got.
That's the official mascot.
That's the official Ray that they have out in the touch tanks.
So is that like a dangerous type of Ray? Is that like if you catch one in the wild, does it like pull up and take you down?
It would. They snip the barbs on them once or twice a year to make them a little bit safer, and so that way you can actually touch them. So
I think they should not snip the barbs, and that would just add to the thrill of the event. Florida
man stung at Rays game.
All I'm saying is I had a college roommate and he was dead serious about this. He pitched, you know how they have like theme nights for baseball games? We're doing Star Wars or whatever.
Especially in the minors.
Yeah. They could do like danger night, and then you remove all the nets and you let people sit back there. And I didn't say it was a good idea.
Removing the nets, yeah. It's almost barbaric now because we've had them long enough and we know the benefit of having the nets. But you're right, that would be a good one of like, hey, pay attention. Savannah Bananas could do that because when they play banana ball,
well, all I'm saying is nobody's coming to the games anyways. So you spice it up, you add the thrill of the danger, maybe you double attendance just because you want to see what's going to happen.
Sure.
I want to see if this guy dies.
You could play Savannah Banana style because if someone in the crowd, especially with no net, catches a ball, it is an out.
Yeah.
That's part of their rules. Our rule is to bring you some fantastic sponsors like Bet365 because you can just turn $1 into $200 in bonus bets when you join Bet365. Download the app, deposit $10, and claim your $200 in bonus bets as soon as you place a bet for $1. Download the Bet365 app and use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Now, if you had picked the Rays last night, most of the time you're going, oh, shoot, hopefully that bullpen holds that lead down. We know the Rockies got a lot of young guys, young rocks, as I've now tried to trademark their nickname. They're young rocks, ROCKS, like the show, not ROX. But you go, are they going to blow the lead? It doesn't matter because right now with Bet365 Baseball Early Payout Offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs or more. Instant payout. Parlay and same-game parlay selections will be marked as winners. Download the app and use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Volo Sport, getting active. How are you staying active, Justin?
I'm probably not as active as I should be.
You're not bowling as much as you should, right?
Well, no. I love the game, but I respect myself too much to be a mediocre bowler, only go out there, once a year. You gotta respect the craft, stick with it, get in the league with Volo.
That's true. Yeah, because you're going to be doing it every week, and you're going to be having fun, most importantly. So even if you're not there to win, if you're there to just hang out, meet some new friends, especially if you're new to Denver, go ahead and get yourself signed up, volosport.com. They've got kickball, soccer, volleyball, even goes throughout the winter, a great indoor sport like bowling. I don't really think of bowling as like an indoor sport. it is indoors, but you go...
I just don't think of it as a sport, which is probably disrespectful to bowling. It's a great... It's an activity.
Activity, yes. It's a game. It's more of a game. Yeah, Mookie Betts would not be happy to hear you say that. He and I are both baseball players and bowlers. Rare combination in the world.
Do you have your own ball?
Not anymore. It's been a very long time. Although I did, in the last 5 or so years, I did bowl like a 240 with a lane ball, which was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I was a varsity bowler as a freshman. So, again, it was a rare breed of a bowler and baseball. And no, I did not get a bowling varsity jacket as a freshman.
Have you ever bowled a perfect game?
No. 1 strike away.
Dang.
I had a 9 spare in the second frame and then 10 strikes the rest of the way through.
Just like
280.
The Rockies bullpen, you came up short.
Yeah. And then I tried, and I said, well, wait a minute. If I get 2 strikes to start the next game, that's 12 in a row. Maybe I could finagle that first ball out. I think I had like a 7-10 split. So no luck on that, but you're going to have plenty of luck meeting some new folks and friends over at Volo Sport. And the Volo Kids Foundation is fantastic because it's a separate 501c3. Really cool. Yeah, it allows free sports camps for kids when you play Volo Sports. Sign up Uptown, City Park, Highlands, Sloan's Lake, you name it, volosport.com. Now, the silver lining here of the day. Stolen base for Brenton Doyle, his 17th of the season. Do you miss the stolen base? And if so, are you loving Brenton Doyle right now? The fact that, you basically doesn't come up until after the first month of the season, and he's head and shoulders leading the rest of the pack in stolen bases on the Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously a more old school mindset with baseball. I love small ball. I love stolen bases. I like bunts and double switches and a whole bunch of things that don't really exist in the game today. But, I mean, it does seem like this year they have gotten a few more stolen bases, just with the increased bag size and whatnot.
Right.
But, I mean, it's one of the most exciting moments in the game, right? Like, I think back to, 07 and some of those runs, like guys like Willie Taveras.
Willie Taveras was the dude.
Dude was a rocket.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fantastic. Didn't have quite the same arm that Brenton Doyle does have.
No, he wasn't
decent
really
range.
Yeah.
Tavares had pretty good range in center, but Doyle, he can just about catch everything. Nolan Jones didn't catch one last night. Didn't get charged in error. Scorekeepers are being very friendly to guys. It's one of the reasons why Nolan Jones ended up with a triple last night and nearly had another outfield assist, 100.5 miles an hour on his throw home. The runner did not slide, because no one told him to slide. He didn't think the throw was going to be coming in that hot. It came in incredibly hot. It was really good. Matt Cook, it was great to see him have another scoreless inning. Tommy Doyle, 2 scoreless frames since his promotion on Sunday, unfortunately, because Tyler Kinley went on the IL there with the elbow inflammation. He's had 3 consecutive scoreless innings with 3K. Ty Block, pretty good. In Tampa, congrats to Osleivis Basabe.
What a name.
That's a name. That is a name and a half. First career home run. It ends up being a grand slam.
That's the way you do it.
Good for him.
They've got a good group of names. Randy Arozarena.
Tampa definitely does. Yandy Diaz. Yandy? I like that.
I like it. Yeah,
that's not bad.
Well. Yandy.
And he was an all-star this year, and he's got an all-star name, so it's fitting that it matches. He hits that grand slam against Daniel Bard, who gives up 4 earned runs, retired only 1. Didn't walk anyone, did hit a batter. His ERA has actually climbed from 1.71 on July 14th up to 4.40. That's 11.91 ERA in his last 14 appearances. Does that bum you out a little bit about Daniel Bard, a guy that has just overcome so much and was such a great story? Yeah. Still is a great story. That story is still the story.
Baseball even is still...
Exactly.
But yeah, it's disappointing. It had seemed like he had found his basically a second coming, and he was pitching really well there for a decent stretch. But I don't know. There's just something about being a Rockies bullpen pitcher. It seems like I don't know. As much as I roll my eyes and stuff about like the altitude when people use it to diminish the hitting stuff, there are times I wish the pitchers would get more credit when they do have the long stretches, just because it's brutal. And we've seen with so many guys who they were terrible at home, and then they leave the Rockies and they go pitch for the Dodgers or the Giants, and they're solid for 3 years. So it feels like we're about 2 years from seeing Bard be an all-star for the D-backs or something, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's a team that kind of helped revitalize his career, as a mental skills coach. So, it's certainly not impossible with everything he's gone through. And you say, oh, he's so old. His arm's not old. His arm's not 37. Well, that's the thing.
The velocity's still there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Attendance last night in Tampa Bay, a paltry 10,235. Is that confusing for a team that's in first place to get such lack of support?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who just inherently loves sports, that's a concept that's hard for me to understand. Just part of it is Denver is so willing to embrace a winning team that we've seen it with anybody. Nuggets, Avs, Broncos, Rockies. When they get going, those crowds are going to be packed. That said, I will cut Tampa some slack as a city only because, it's a terrible ballpark. It's probably the worst in the game.
Yeah.
And it's visually, it looks awful on TV. I can't imagine sitting in the stands feels much better. It's night and day from, being at Coors Field and having a hot dog or a Helton burger and a beer and the sunset and the weather's perfect. Like, you're just in this gray, droopy dome.
Well, that's part of it, right? Because it's got, baseball shouldn't really be indoors. And if you have a retractable roof, that's fine, because you just say, cool, this one, the dome has to be closed because of the weather. That's fine. That makes sense for so many places. But when it's just purely indoors, and when it's on AstroTurf too, it just doesn't look good in Tampa to watch it on TV. It's the worst
just not
place to see.
aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't.
No.
I think one of the great things about baseball is the vibe. And I know, like, if you're a purist and you're frustrated with the Rockies and the fact that people are supporting the team despite the fact that they stink, and it probably frustrates you when people say, "Oh, you only care about the vibes." But like, it is a strong selling point. It's a fun atmosphere to be in, whether you are the guy that's keeping score, know every single stat, or you're just there to have a good night. And you don't have any of that in Tampa. And I think there's probably a healthy compromise. Like, you'd like your owner, to be somewhere in the middle. Hey, let's have a great ballpark and let's, have a winning team here.
Yep.
But I can't exactly fault the people of Tampa Bay for not wanting to spend their night sitting in that droopy, ugly dome. I mean,
it's hard to get to. That's the other piece too,
is it?
of where it is in St. Petersburg. Yeah, and I think
that's where they're going to move, right?
They're basically going to build a new stadium, I believe, in the parking lot. I don't know if the plans have been final. They were talking about Ybor City, so kind of, closer to actually, Tampa proper. So they're going to get a new stadium, but I don't know that's going to really fix their problem. Again, they've got AstroTurf. Only 5 ballparks remain for AstroTurf. Tampa Bay, Arizona, they got a retractable roof. Miami, retractable roof. Also in Arizona, I mean, you're probably not really going to be able to grow the grass there, so I'll give them a pass.
I heard they are considering an open-air stadium for Vegas, though, and as somebody who goes to Vegas every July for Mountain West Media Days when it's 120 degrees outside, I don't understand what they're thinking.
They might have to do a reverse Coors Field where, for anyone that doesn't know, there's, I don't know how many millions of miles of cord that goes underneath Coors Field to heat up the ground, to basically trick the grass to say, hey, it's springtime, when it's April and it's still 35 degrees out and it stays green. Like, you're tricking Mother Nature. Like, maybe that's the curse, is that we've tried to trick Mother Nature at Coors Field, and so Mother Nature's like, you're not going to win. You're not going to be a good club. Let's blame her and not anyone else that owns the team. But you could do the reverse with Las Vegas, and I don't know, maybe you just have like an open top Yeti cooler or something like that underneath the grass to keep it a little bit cooler. I don't know.
I mean, I think like on Fremont Street, if you walk under the lighted section, it's temperate controlled. You're outdoors, but it's definitely like 30 degrees cooler under there than anywhere else out there. So maybe you do something like that. I don't know. It's Vegas. Anything is possible. It's magic.
Toronto has a retractable roof and the artificial turf. They just did renovations. I thought they were putting grass in. I don't think they did. And then Texas, and you go, you kind of get it. But Houston is able to have real grass and a retractable roof. Yeah. Why not the Texas Rangers? I don't care for that.
I just think baseball should be played on grass.
Should be.
It's everything about it feels wonky. Aesthetically, it looks weird. I hated playing on turf when I, played the game. It's all about the standard, right? I was trying to quote the Big Lebowski, but I couldn't remember what he said. So I just moved on and canceled it.
Well, it's fitting because you were talking about grass, and everything should be done on grass. Yeah. This would be a perfect time for Kind Love, but no, we're going to actually talk about Shady Rays kick off the new year because, you know what, maybe everything has been done on grass. I lost my Shady Rays. I had them on me. I had them on my person. They're gone. But I'm not worried because
they got your back,
course,
man.
That's right. They got the lost and broken replacement policy, which is fantastic. They can also give you a full refund within 30 days if you don't like what you've got. You can try them on in person, of course, at the Park Meadows Mall. You buy 2, get 50% off 2 or more pairs, or just get them online. They got you got a big option for you. A lot of options, a lot of choices for you. It's an independent sunglass company. When you use promo code DNVR, you get to buy one, get one free. 5 stars, rated by over 200,000 people. They got to be at the quarter of 1,000,000 mark. I think we got to update that. They're probably, I feel confident they're at 250,000.
I would think. I mean, they're sweet. Just the DNVR peeps alone. We're good for a small bump.
Yeah. Look, support them because they support us. It works out really nice. And if you're talking about big numbers, how about 5? No, not 5. Even bigger than 500 million. $1 billion. That's how much Backus and Schenker has won their clients over the years. Give them a call. Free consultation. You can go to coloradolaw.net or just give them a call at 222-2222. All Tulowitzkis. We haven't revealed that you got the black vest. There's another reason why. If you listen to the podcast, great. Leave us a review on that. But you got to also tune in over to the YouTube where we got the DNVR Sports Channel, where we are. You get to see the jersey Justin's wearing. You get to look at me looking like a tomato. We're having fun over here. And Backus and Shanker, they're helping you out because if you've been hurt at work, rideshare, car accident, pedestrian, whatever it is, you name it, they're going to go ahead and help you out. Find out if you've got a case because they've got tons of people working on the cases and they don't get a dime until you do. $1 billion over the years. Amazing. Give them a call. All Tulos, 222-2222. All right, we've got ourselves a segment here with Kevin Henry. Caught up with him, and basically, what is the worry? What are the big pieces that we're worried about for 2024? Because now's the time where we're thinking about that. Here's what he had to say. Here's his ranking of the things we're most worried about for 2024. All right, Kevin, things going a little bit better for the Rockies right now. 3-3 homestand.
Yep.
Kind of suggested the fact that maybe if the Rockies can stay at 500 at home for the remainder of the season, all they got to do is win 5 games on the road to prevent losing 100 games. But is 100 games really anything to even worry about? That's not really a big deal, I think, to anyone other than perhaps only Dick Monfort, right?
Yeah, I don't think 100 losses is going to change the direction of the franchise. I don't think they're going to sell the franchise. They're going to fire Bud Black. None of that's going to happen if they hit 100 losses. It's merely a number. But like you, I think now Rockies fans are invested in every game to see which direction they're going. Are they going more toward the 100 or more away from it?
Yeah, that's what this next week's going to be about when they go on the road, because that's the hardest part is on the road. I think they can stay around 500 at home. Yeah. It's about winning those games on the road. It's about cutting down the strikeouts. That's another thing. We'll talk about some more of the things that could be worrisome going forward here for the Rockies, as it's really all about 2024. The strikeouts, there have been so many of them with this lineup. Is that something that worries you, or is it just kind of part of those growing pains, particularly for so many of those young players?
I'm going to go that way and say it's more growing pains. I'm going to say that with a more at-bats, one thing whenever we ask about the young players of Bud Black, he always talks about there's a certain number of plate appearances, a certain number of at-bats that you have to get to before you really see any kind of direction that things could go. And I don't think any of those guys are really at that point yet. So I think if we get into this time next year and those strikeouts are still there, yes. But as of heading into next season, no, not a concern at all.
It's a little inconsequential, right? You go, oh, hey, put some more balls in play. Maybe you win that 1-2 run ball game, whatever it is. The wins and losses don't necessarily matter right now. It does matter on an individual basis. Like, hey, you got to put that ball in play. Yep. You got to maybe choke up a little bit. Do something. Yeah. Put the ball in play. So it's something definitely to monitor on a player-by-player basis. That being said, we still know in baseball in 2023, even with the shift being banned, guys are still striking out at really high and alarming rates. Still a little bit more alarming for some of those young Rocky players. The 2024 rotation right now, going into next year, you could say Kyle Freeland going to be in your starting 5? Yes. Austin Gomber going to be in your starting 5? Yes. Yep. After that, tons of question marks. Senzatella and Herman Marquez out with the Tommy John surgery. So those guys you're not going to get until the second half at best. And even then, they are not going to be themselves. Are you worried that there's only 2 guys that you can rely upon? You've got options that could be there for you next year. But then free agencies, trades, whoa, 3/5 of the rotation, question marks.
I'm very worried about that because you look at what's coming up through the farm system. There's not a lot of guys that you can say, oh, well, this guy can slide in there.
Yeah.
And we know how Rockies in free agency with pitching goes, and it's not often a marriage that works out very well. And so I think that is definitely a concern. I'm sure it's something that they're already thinking about. But heading into next season, I'll be honest, of the things we're going to talk about, that's probably right up the top of mine is, because this rotation's already having trouble in 2023, much less how are you going to Band-Aid it together in 2024?
And we know that the struggles that the rotation has had, obviously in light of all these injuries, including Ryan Feltner, which is one of those question marks. You say you hope. I mean, you hope all these guys come back, but still, for him, maybe even more so. But the struggles that the rotation has had negatively impacted the bullpen and has impacted guys. So, there is a domino effect. So next year you go Maybe Ryan Feltner, you can rely upon him in one of those spots. Still a question mark. Peter Lambert, getting his act together in a major way. Okay, that's a guy you might be able to look at. Ty Block should be around for next year as well. Chris Flexen, I believe he is going to be a free agent after this year since he did play overseas and whatnot. But that still doesn't make for a full starting rotation.
Well, throw in Noah Davis. Throw in, there's like you said, there's a lot of guys that you'd say, oh, they could go in there. But after Freeland and Gomber, I mean, you got to say it kind of drops off after that. Now, I think Feltner, I think that there's a lot of guys who have the talent to come in there. There are guys who have the talent to be back-end starters, but do they have the consistency that is needed, especially to pitch at Coors Field, to blend into a rotation and, like you said, not tax the bullpen every third, fourth, fifth day?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest issue. Noah Davis's name, I'm glad that you brought up, because it has looked a lot better since he's come back from injury with Albuquerque. Yeah. You got to hope he's a guy maybe you give a chance to, and you say, well, Chase Anderson, he's done his job for the Rockies, and so what do the Rockies owe Chase Anderson? Well, you know what? Noah Davis, you might want to get him up here for a couple starts. Does Carl Coughlin deserve, maybe one more start? You might have an idea what he's going to be like, but you're right. The rest of the guys in the farm system in the starting rotation are at AA and lower, and that's really where the next worry could possibly come in. After making such a huge leap last year, and rightfully so, farm system rankings have dropped.
Yeah.
MLB Pipeline saying, they're kind of in the back half, in the mid-range, in that middle 10, but still, and a lot of that having to do with injuries. You had 3 guys the Rockies announced with Tommy John surgery on the same day. Gabriel Hughes, your first overall pick in 2022. Jackson Cox, a young arm that you got out of high school, and Jordy Vargas, another 19-year-old arm that had a lot of people kind of putting comps of like a young Pedro Martinez on. Yeah. So all those injuries have had a really negative impact. Zach Veen, done for the year, and you go, oh boy, like this farm system that's supposed to be the savior, they might not be able to save in 2024. It might be more like 2025.
And that's the thing is that let's take Zach Veen for an example.
Okay.
Everything he's missing right now,
all
those steps he could be taking right now he's going to have to start over whenever spring training comes. And supposedly he's going to be healthy for spring, ready to go and everything else. But we also saw last year in spring training, time back in, the strikeouts were abnormally high. When he got on base, he did some damage, but getting on base was the trick for Zach Veen. Now the question becomes, does he come back from this injury, and how quickly can he actually ramp up to be that guy that a lot of people think is a part of the future for the Rockies? But we still got to know, is that a factor or not?
I had Zach Veen making his major league debut on August 14th against the Diamondbacks.
Oh. That
was my prediction, and of course, he had an injury and had the season-ending surgery. I think that's where it would have been a good spot to have him come up. And especially now you look at the roster and you go, oh, yeah, there's room for him in that outfield. I know Tolia's been doing a nice job in right field, trying to get him at bats, Montero at bats. Those are 2 guys, who have benefited from, reduced playing time of Jerks and Profar, which I know we talked about on Sunday, and got into all kinds of things from this weekend that we learned. A lot of big takeaways from that White Sox Rockies series that we talked about a couple days ago. But even still, the injuries have been rough on the minor league team, the minor league system, hard on the big league team. Injuries in general, obviously it's worrisome. Does it worry you that there's something more to that? Is it, the Mets, I felt like a couple years ago, everyone was getting injured. I mean, you saw DeGrom, you saw Noah Syndergaard there, and it was like, there's something going on possibly in this organization that's just not maybe serving their guys. Every team has those players that get injured, but some teams have it more than others. Rockies have actually been quite blessed when it comes to minimizing those kind of major injuries. This year, is it just been a house of cards that has fallen apart? Is it bad luck? Is it anything to be worried about?
So for me, I'm not going to go conspiracy theory. I'm going to say that it's just a string of bad luck. I don't think it's anything organizationally with all the Tommy Johns that you mentioned and everything else. I think it's just a string of bad luck. And like you said, it's cyclical. So hopefully the Rockies are getting it out of the way in a season where you didn't really have any postseason hopes anyway. Get it out of the way now, have it come back around. And so hopefully in a couple of years, whenever you maybe do have those hopes, you don't have to worry about them.
And then also on Sunday too, Tyler Kinley, we got the word right before the game started hey, Tommy Doyle's coming up. We were wondering why he was in the clubhouse. You're like, all right, taxi squad guy. For what reason? That was Tyler Kinley. Some inflammation on his elbow, more in the tricep area, basically on the opposite side of where he had his surgery. Seemed very upbeat, very optimistic, but he's hoping it's going to be the minimum 15 days. That's how it goes with pitchers. Position players only have to sit out for 10 days. So that's kind of the hope for him. And Tyler thought, I thought this was going to happen earlier in the process rather than now. I thought I was kind of through it all. So maybe just a slight hiccup, but not a big deal. We'll kind of just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and how quickly Buddy said, oh, by the way, whenever they're on the road trip this week, he's going to be throwing side sessions
That's
and everything
good.
else. Yeah, that was an immediate, oh, okay, then there's really nothing to worry. Well, not as much to worry about, shall we say.
All right, so we've talked plenty about this idea that, there could be as many as 4 Rockies as Gold Glove Award finalists. Bretton Doyle in center. Nolan Jones, he's been a little bit left, right. There's a lot of defensive metrics that like him. He's got the 10 outfield assists. Has he put in enough time? I could see him falling through the cracks. Ezekiel Tovar, again, numbers looking really good at shortstop. Maybe Dansby Swanson, the only one that's been as good, if not slightly better, but still Tovar's right there. And then Ryan McMahon at third base. Is there any combination of players that get snubbed as far as being finalists is concerned that would worry you or upset you as much as just Ryan McMahon maybe not winning a Gold Glove Award this year?
I think that's the one thing that Rockies fans will riot about. If this is the year, somehow Nolan Arenado's name is back among the Gold Gloves, despite all the statistics, despite everything else, then I think the fix will be on. So I don't think Rockies fans are going to be as upset because of Doyle and Tovar with their rookie status. But I think everybody in 20th and Blake thinks Rymack has earned that so far this season, and so absolutely deserves a little gold.
That's a good point. You're right. You'd almost trade Tovar. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities. Yeah. Let's put all our chips in the Ryan McMahon basket. Let him, get that Gold Glove finally. Snap, kind of. I don't know if bittersweet's the word, but poetic. That the guy who replaces him, not even the first guy, because if you remember, who started opening day on 2021 as soon as Nolan Arenado left? Who started third base?
Let's see. Who was that?
Joshua Fuentes, his cousin. But still, Ryan McMahon, ultimately, that's how the history books are going to remember it. Yeah. If he snaps that streak, that's pretty great.
The story writes itself, man. I tell you it does.
Town and Country, Missouri is where the Rawlings Sporting Goods factory is located. So get your picket signs right. Not yet. Don't you just wait for the picket signs. Imagine if Arenado isn't even a finalist this year.
Man, is that even possible? It is possible.
It's possible. Right? You'd have to have 3 slam dunk guys in over Arenado. I don't know that there are necessarily 3 right now. Yeah. McMahon is. So McMahon we know is going to be a finalist. Period. Lock it in. But is it going to be enough? I think it could be, and there's still a lot of baseball left. Yeah. And shoot, man, McMahon was doing it all weekend. Again, go back and listen to Sunday's show. Herb Lawrence is saying he's giving Ryan McMahon a shout out. He wants that guy on his team. He's like, this guy's a superstar, right? Maybe. Yeah. This would certainly do that. You snap a streak like this. Now I got to go back and find out, who is the first guy that broke the streak for Ozzie Smith at shortstop or Greg Maddux as a pitcher. Yeah. All those guys. Johnny Bench. Brooks Robinson at third base. Talk about historic. I'm getting excited, hyped up. This might be a conversation for another day. But Kev, thanks so much. Absolutely. So what's worrying you the most? Is it starting rotation for next year? It's starting
rotation. But put that high on my list, man.
All right. And now back to me to try to possibly save this and bring the spirit of the show up. Good luck. You, me. Anyway, look, talk about bringing the spirits up. Come down to the DNVR bar, man, where it's just always popping off. We're open for lunch now. That's the best part. It's a
cool little menu, too. It's nice and affordable. They've got some good options. Get a burger. I'm about it.
So if you're a diehard, besides, you get a free shirt each and every year, 20% off all of the gear that we've got and tailgates, things of that nature. You get 15% off at the bar. I didn't realize, because I don't know when they put it back on the menu, but the chicken and waffles is back on the menu. That was only like a brunch thing, wasn't it, Tiff? And now it's on the full-time menu, I believe.
It's back. Brunch is back, actually.
And brunch is back. That's right. You can't beat that. Brunch, buddies, brews. Well, that's kind of what we say about Legal Pete's, but we can also say about the DNVR bar as well. And I think we got the Nuggets book signing is coming up this Friday. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend getting a copy if you are a sports fan. Got one sitting right on my coffee table. It's cool, you know. Like, I've got a million of those over the years commemorating the various runs. Rockies 07. I think it was the Athletics Avalanche one for the Stanley Cup. And it's just so cool to like be a part of a company that creates something like that. And it makes me think like how neat it would be for the Rockies to get back on track and, win a World Series, obviously. Like, let's win the NL West maybe.
And it would also be awesome to do that and hang out with you on a Friday Night Live, which you'll be doing September 1st, CSU Rams. That'll be great.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
And then like right after that, it's not a Friday, it's a Saturday, September 9th. It's for a Giants game. We're having like a little mashup watch party, everything with Purple Row. And I hope, fingers crossed, we might be able to secure our next guest, my co-host. Hang out. You're gonna hang here on the pod. Hopefully, you'll be hanging on the pod, and you'll be hanging at our watch party on September 9th as well.
What's up, guys? Sorry, I can't hear you really well. I gotta say, they play the music really loud in here. It's a fun vibe, but they play the music super loud.
Any chance they open the roof up today? I'm gonna guess 0% chance they open the roof.
Definitely 0% chance. This is a fixed roof. It does not open, does not close. It just stays the weird circus tent that it is.
Circus tent, fixed roof. I like these. I need to use that for an article when talking about the Trop. How was the vibe last night and this morning, considering the Rockies blew another lead all in that 8th inning?
Well, there is no this morning. Clubhouse opens in a few minutes, so I haven't seen any of these guys yet today. But last night it was not a good vibe. Not a good vibe at all, because, we were in it. We were in this game. It was super close. It was tied. The Rockies had a lead. It was a lot of back and forth until it wasn't. It just all fell apart right there in the 8th inning. And I think you said it best with the title, Rays Hell. They were in Rays Hell last night, but they better raise hell tonight. I think they will. These guys were not happy after last night's loss.
Yeah, we've been kind of talking the last couple days. I've said it a million times. I hate when people repeat things, but I'm going to do it again anyway. If they can be 500 at home, all they got to do is win 5 out on the road. Are you worried this could be another 0-6 week for the Rockies on the road? 2 more still in Tampa, and then 3 in Baltimore, Camden Yards.
You know what? These are both teams that are at the Rays and the Orioles are 1 and 2 in the AL East, and that's a good division. So I could see that happening. I really hope it doesn't. I think the Rockies get at least 1 here. They were so close to having at least 1 here last night. I think it's going to be a total sweep of a road trip, but my hopes are a little dashed right now after what we saw last night.
I think civilly is going to be hard to beat today, but then on Thursday, the day game, we're going to have brunch and baseball here in Denver. Your boy, Peter Lambert, you picked him for start of the year. He may have had it in his last time around. If he can do it again in Tampa, that could be the more winnable of these next 2 games.
For sure, Patrick. Yeah, Peter Lambert was on fire during his last start. We're excited to see him take the mound again. But I got to say, I did call it as my best start of the year, and I think I might have been right.
All right, we'll see what Austin Garber does tonight. Hold on. We'll see. My pick is
Your
going
guy.
tonight. Have you had a chance to, maybe you did in the past, did you go to the Rays touch tank at all? And did you see Michael Tolia there? We think that's part of his pregame ritual now that he's hit a home run after he visited the touch tank on Tuesday.
If I get a chance to see him today before the game, I will ask him if he's going to go to the touch tank every day now that, you got a good homer out of that. That was fun. Imagine your first at bat in a ballpark you've never been to before, and you just absolutely mash. That was so fun. Like, we've been saying, the young players are definitely the silver lining on a tough season for everyone. Love seeing what they're able to do, and we're watching them learn right before our eyes.
Yeah, and imagine hitting your first career home run and it's a grand slam. I mean, that's never happened, right?
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, he almost quite literally touched the touch tank and going into right center because that's where it's located, I believe, right at the Trop.
Yeah. So, just a little left of, right of center. Right of center. There it is. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Excellent. Suzie, be safe out there. I would say make sure you're wearing sunscreen, but again, as we learned, it's a circus tent / fixed roof, so you're probably going to be okay, I think.
I will be okay. It's a nice 72 degrees in here. It's probably like the nicest temperature I'm going to find in Florida.
It's Florida, so of course they've got the AC on, so I think that makes sense, right?
Yeah. All right.
Excellent.
Well, thanks. I will talk to you guys later.
Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow post-game. Susie's got the scoops. She's got the scoops of what's going down. We got the game covered, of course, as we always do on Twitter, at DNVR_Rockies, at Patrick D. Lyons is where I'm located. Justin, go ahead and plug away where everyone can find your stuff on social media, as well as all the articles that you're working on for CSU Rams.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Justin T. Michael. You can also find us at DNVR_Rams. Got all kinds of written content on thednvr.com. DNVR Rams Live, first show of the season, Thursday, 9:30 in the morning. Check that out if you want to have just an idea of what's going on in college football this weekend. Not a ton of great games, but a few. And for people like me, we'll take anything we can get. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. And again, for anyone that is already a diehard in the Discord, we'll be talking plenty more about what the White Sox did, getting rid of two guys that have been around for a very long time. If 87-year-old owner Jerry Reinsdorf can have such a major change of heart, is there a chance that 69-year-old Dick Monfort will do the same about his front office and how he runs his business? I don't know. These are wonderful things that we talk about on Twitter and the Diehards Only Discord. Justin, thank you for giving us tons of momentum. But in baseball and podcast, we have a saying, your momentum, it's only as good as your next show. So it's going to be a good one. Post-game early, probably 2:30-ish, give or take. We got on Adam Mares from the DNVR Nuggets. Well, we're not just talking about basketball. We will talk plenty of baseball. Join us there, DNVR Sports Channel, live on YouTube.